guys, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm showing you my May TBR. Month of May, I think the only readathon that I'm really planning on doing is the May the Force Read With You readathon. I will leave the announcement video for that link down below. I believe this was created by Eric from Break Even Books, although he does have a couple other co-hosts, and I'm very excited for it. That's why I'm wearing, you can't even really see, my Baby Yoda shirt. However, I don't want to commit myself to a really big TBR. The main goal of the May the Force Read With You readathon is to read 5 books, if you can, during the month. And I do feel like I'm leaning more towards the light side prompts with a little bit of neutral thrown in, because you can actually use the neutral prompts for either the light side or the dark side. But I don't fully know what books I'm planning on reading. I have one buddy read going for the month. We have our buzzwordathon. Presley is going to pick that for us, so I don't actually know what book we're going for with that. I'm also going to do my TBR bucket pick. So I think we're going to get started with those kind of things first, and then I'll tell you if they fit any prompts for the readathon that I'm planning on participating in, and we will go from there. Also, Presley found the power button for the ring light, so yeah. So I think the first thing that we're gonna do is get Presley's stuff out of the way and talk about the buzzwordathon. For May, the buzzwordathon is to either have the word house or the word home in the book title. And looking through my books of stuff that I have not read before, I did not think I had anything with home, but I did have a couple things for house, and the ones that we're going with are these two here. I have Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Caine. This should be an adult mystery thriller type of book. And I have House Immortal by Devin Monk. This one is going to be more of a fantasy. I don't fully know how much fantasy. I think it's like an urban fantasy. Whatever one gets picked, we will go into it a little bit more. I'll read the back for you. But yeah, these are the two that I have for Presley to pick. And let me take the ring light power button out of his hands and we'll get him set up. Yeah? Are you ready to pick a book? So like I said, we have these two books here. Hey Presley, which one of these books do you want? Stillhouse Lake? Oh, we're fuzzy. That one there? Okay. Stillhouse Lake it is. He's gonna read it right now. Okay, and so he has picked Stillhouse Lake for us. Do not touch the part that moves the camera. Play with the ring light. This is the first book in an adult mystery thriller, turn off the ring light, we don't need it, type of book. I don't want to read too much into the synopsis because I do like to go into these kind of books blind, but it does say the killing didn't stop when they caught her husband. Gina Royal is the definition of average, a shy Midwestern housewife with a happy marriage and 2 adorable children. But when a car accident reveals her husband's secret life as a serial killer, she must remake herself as Gwen Proctor, the ultimate warrior mom. Okay, yeah, I really don't want to get too much more into it, but it does sound like we're going to have an older protagonist, which I do love when that happens nowadays. I just finished Kings of the Wild, which I will talk about in my wrap-up for April, but they are almost fully comprised of older protagonists, and it was so good. But so, I'm very excited for this. It's not too long, and I own the entire series, so yeah, it's a good thing that we're starting with book 1. Next, let's move into the TBR bucket. I have my TBR bucket here. We are getting down a little bit more in my physical TBR, which was a big goal for this year. However, I have more ebooks that I've put in here, and Presley is over here very excited, tapping on the bucket. He wants us to do this. So, ready? Ready? Okay, I accidentally grabbed 2. One is pink, one is purple. I haven't looked at it, but we've had purple for the last like couple months in a row, so I'm gonna go with pink. Okay, we have Once and Future Volume 2 by Kieran Gillen. So that is going to be this here. It is a comic bind-up about King Arthur. I read Volume 1 last year, absolutely loved what I was reading. It's a very dark take on it, and I bought this one last year and I just haven't picked it up yet. I really did enjoy the whole, like, King Arthur is trying to come back to life, but he's not a very nice guy. This does follow this main guy here. I can't remember his name. Duncan, it looks like his name might be Duncan, and his mother or his grandmother, and it was just super, super fun in the first place. I'm probably going to want to reread the first one before I get into this, but this is a really good TBR bucket pick. And then for the buddy read, I am actually going to be buddy reading Trickery by Jane Washington and Jamin Eve. This is a book that I have read before, however, it has been a while. And I did a recent video that was like all of the unread books on my Kindle, and I actually had book 3, 4, and 4.5 in this series. It's a 5-book series plus book 4.5, I think is like a novella. And I read the first 2, like I said, years ago. And my friend Lana from Lauren Lullabies was like, have you actually started the series yet? Because she wanted to also reread the first book. And I was like, yeah, I have started it, but it's been forever. I don't remember anything that's happened, really. Like, I remember our main character's name is Willa. That's about it. And so we decided that in May we are going to reread at least the first book in this series. I might eventually start getting further into the series because it is one that I definitely want to finish. But this, like I said, is about Willa, who I believe is very clumsy, and she ends up accidentally almost getting sent to like an elite school in this fantasy world where some people are like normal humans and some people are like the sons of gods or have the potential to be gods. Again, it's been a little while since I've read this, and I do remember it being very, very funny. It is also a reverse harem romance, but I'm pretty sure it is a slow burn romance where we don't get into the full romantic aspects in the first book. I feel like we started getting into them in the second book, and then I haven't continued the series since then, but I did remember giving the first book, I think, 4 out of 5 stars the last time I read it. It's been a while, but I'm very, very excited to do this as a buddy read. And then the only other book that I have for sure picked out for the month of May is going to be Whispers of Shadow and Flame by L. Penelope. I read the first book in this series, Song of Blood and Stone, in February for the Fantasy Romance February, and absolutely fell in love with that first book. It is a 4-book series, and the 4th book is coming out later this year. I only own the first 2 right now, but one of my goals for this year that I sort of made after I read that first book is to read this entire series. So I'm planning on hopefully reading the 3rd book and then purchasing the 4th book and reading that close to when the release date is, because I just absolutely loved the first one so much. This is a world where there are 2 different like lands that were separated by a very magical mantle. And in the first book, the mantle is on the verge of breaking up. One side is filled with white, red-haired people with no magic, and the other side is filled with black people that have earth song. And one of our main characters in the first book, Jasminda, is actually half Lagrimari, which is the black people, and Elsiren, which is the white people. But she does have earth song, so she does look black, and she had to deal with, you know, some racism and stuff for that, but it is a fantasy romance as well, so we had some romantic elements. I absolutely loved the world that we were in, and I do believe this is a sequel, but also a companion novel, because I do believe our 2 like main characters that are on the cover here are not the same main characters from the first book. I don't know exactly how everything ties in together, but I'm very, very excited to continue in this series. Okay, and then like I said, I was going to talk a little bit about if any of these books that we currently have set aside for me fit the prompts for the May the Force Read With You Readathon. And so just looking at the different prompts, because I do, like I said, think I'm going to go with light side with some potentially neutral prompts. One of the prompts that definitely works is for a sequel, and that is for the light side, and that will probably be Whispers of Shadow and Flame. But then we also have, for neutral, a main character that has a special ability. And so Trickery, I'm pretty darn sure, gets to the point where our main character does have a special ability. It's not like a very typical one, but it is a thing. So I think I'm going to be using it for that. And then I do think I can probably fit in Once and Future for one of these prompts as well, either for paranormal elements, which is a light side prompt, or I don't necessarily want to say that I'm going to use it for favorite genre, even though I absolutely do love comics and the fantasy world it's going to be in. I might want to save that one. So I think maybe I'm leaning more towards paranormal elements. And again, remember, I only have to really do 5 prompts to like complete this readathon, and I can have a mixture of light and neutral. So I think at least for these 3 books, that's where I'm going to be fitting it in. Now for Rachel Kane, The Stillhouse Lake, I really don't know if any of them are actually going to fit on here. The closest one for that could be a favorite color on the cover, but my favorite color is more of like a dark midnight blue almost, and that is more of a teal, which I did used to love, but I don't know if I want to specify that in that prompt yet. But I do definitely want to read it since it is going to be our buzzwordathon book for the month of May. But otherwise, I think that is going to be it for this video. We do have 4 books total that we have picked out so far. That is not a ton, and I know I've definitely picked out other books to make these TBRs feel a lot longer, but I do have some arcs that I'm going to need to be doing, and I'm going to be changing my channel and video schedule up a little bit in May. Keep an eye out for that. I will have an announcement video up when I'm ready to do that, but I don't think I'm going to have as much time for reading certain things because of other things that I want to do. So it's very exciting for me. Gonna be a surprise for you. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more videos. I have videos up Mondays, Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays. So I will see you then. Bye.